And welcome back as we meet the candidates for Terrebonne Parish Council District 1. We have the incumbent, Brien Pledger, who's with us right now. And Mr. Pledger, good to see you again.
Thanks, Martin. It's good to be here.
Yeah, well, we got 3 candidates in District 1. And just tell me, after taking over the seat, what did you learn about District 1 that I know you're well educated, come up with a good background, but what did you learn that maybe you didn't know before?
Well, the most important thing, or what I'm finding, and some of the things that I had to incorporate that into my processes, into my way of leading District 1. The most important thing was the fact that our residents of District 1 were just unaware of certain things. That was one of the most important things, and it kind of made me take a step back a little bit to have to address those issues that I saw was very, very important, because if they know they can do themselves. Some of the things they asked me to do, it's right there for them to do it, and they just weren't aware. And still, to this day, I still have some issues with folks not knowing certain things. You know, some don't even know that I'm the councilman, or didn't know that I was the councilman until they see me out in their neighborhood or something like that talking to them.
Because you almost have to spoon feed people now. They're so involved in everything else, and they really dive into other things. And you're right. Some of them don't even know who the president is, a vice president, and that's on a broad basis. So let me ask you, so I think Councilman Navy did a pretty good job of trying to get the mystique off of District 1. And so did the police chief, for that matter, did a great job. But District 1 has always got a bad rap, always, when a lot of the same crimes are going on everywhere else in the parish.
Correct.
What have you been trying to do to sort of change that, to let people know, hey, we got some pretty doggone good people that live around here?
Well, I first thing I did when I got in office, I went and on several other occasions, I was able to speak with our police chief, Mr. Travis Terrio, and a bunch of his officers alike. And I spoke with them and let them know that, hey, come out to District 1. When I see you out in District 1, you know, I would prefer that you're talking to the constituents or talking to the people of District 1, even if it's not a crime-based visit or you're riding through, what have you. And they were really, really responsive to that. I also had an instance where I had a family member that actually had an incident with the police. And I happened to go out there. They didn't know who I was at the time, the police officers. But I did inform our chief after the fact that what we had talked about was actually working in the Mechanicville, specifically the Mechanicville area, because a lot of times people get District 1 confused. It's just Mechanicville, which it's not.
Very
It's
true.
not. We have Patriot Point. We have the upper portion of Bayou DeLarge.
Very
Village
broad
East.
base, yeah.
It's very broad base. That's another aspect of my being in office that I want to make sure that I kind of level the playing field and let all the folks in District 1 know that it's not just Mechanicville.
So what do you bring, again, you come from a business background, you come from a military background. I remember on a previous show you spoke so highly of your parents getting you in line, and, you know, pretty tough, pretty strict. So what do you bring back to your constituents, especially the younger generation, and what do you teach them?
Well, the first thing you want to teach the younger generation, because they're tomorrow, they're our future. The most important thing we as a whole, not just the younger generation, but the entire district, is what love means to me. Love means the willing sacrifice for something or someone without the expectation of gain. That's why I took this office. That's why I wanted to be in this office, so I can show my community that, you know, if we can love one another first, everything else is a lot easier for us to achieve together as a community.
The way you speak of that sort of reminds me of the first time you talked about your mom.
Yes.
And, you know, she always told you, if you're going to get involved in something like this, represent yourself well.
That's 100% correct. My mom and my father, they were the foundation for myself and my brothers. And it's no, you know, little I's and big U's when it comes to doing anything for the community. You want to make sure you do your best, and make sure that when you do your best, that you encourage other folks to do their best too as well.
But you also come from a background that you don't use any of your past as an excuse for what you didn't have. You use your past every time I hear you talk. You're very proud of your past, and you use it as a positive stepping stone for what the younger generation should be looking at and sort of focusing on.
You're 100% correct in that, Martin. I'll give you a quick example. I was away military for a bunch of years, worked supervisor of operations for a major pipeline company here in the U.S., moved all over the country, Connecticut, Minnesota, all kinds of places. And my wife said she had enough. And what I decided to do was ask her, well, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? She was like, well, let's go back to Houma. I said, okay, fine. When we go back to Houma, then what? You know, we got to find somewhere to live. She says, well, I want to go back to where we came from, where we were born and raised. To give an example, we came back, built a home next door to my mom and my dad. And not only that, it was an opportunity to show the folks in Mechanicville, sort of underserved. And Mechanicville is not the only area in District 1, but I'm using that as the example. I came back to Mechanicville so I can show the people there that, hey, you know, you can do good. And that's why I'm here now as the councilman for District 1, trying to make it even better.
All right, Councilman Brien, pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
appreciate it. And there you have it. All our candidates for District 1. We'll take a break, be looking for all the other council races going on right here on HTV.